Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to look at GCF and LCM. And so if you've covered the previous video of prime factorization, today's lesson will be a lot easier for you. So what is GCF? GCF is greatest common factor. And so this is the largest factor that is common to all given numbers. And we're going to do lots of examples here, so let's jump right in. Example 1, find the GCF of the following numbers, 12 and 40. So we're going to break up 12 to be 2 squared times 3, and 40 is 2 cubed times 5, right? We saw this in our prime factorization, that this is how we do it. And so we notice that 2 squared is the largest common factor of 2's, right? 2 is in common, 2 squared is in common, but not 2 cubed. 2 cubed is for 40, not 12. So 2 squared is the largest common factor for the 2's. Now we look at the 3. 3 is not in common for both, and 5 is also not common for both. So the only thing that's in common for both of these numbers is 2 squared. And so this is the common factor that is the largest. And so GCF, greatest common factor, is 2 squared, which is 4, like that. B, 75 and 675. So 75 is 3 times 5 squared. 675 is 3 cubed times 5 squared. So we notice that there is a 3 in common, 3 here and 3 here. 3 squared is not common, right? It's not common for the 75. So only 3 is in common. And then we look at the 5's, 5 squared is in common. So we say 5 squared, like that. So our GCF is 3 times 5 squared, which gives 75. So 3 times 5 squared is the largest common factor for both of these numbers, 75. And it doesn't have to be just 2 numbers. It could be 3 numbers, 24, 40, and 56. So we break up 24, 2 cubed times 3, 40 is 2 cubed times 5, and 56 is 2 cubed times 7. And we notice that 2 cubed is common for all 3, but nothing else. 3 is not in common, 5 is not in common, 7 is not in common. And so our GCF is 2 cubed, which is 8. Right? Notice that 2 squared is in common for all of them. 2 is in common for all of them. But we're looking for the greatest common factor. So that's why we're taking 2 cubed. We want the largest common factor for all 3, which is 2 cubed. Okay, D. 2 to the 4, 3 to the 3, 5 to the 4. 2 to the 3, 2 to the 2, and 5 to the 3 to the 2, and 5 to the 6. So we notice that 2 cubed is in common for both, right? 3 squared is in common for both, and 5 to the 4 is in common for both. So GCF is this, 2 cubed, times 3 squared, times 5 to the 4, which is 45,000. Okay, E, 5 cubed, 7 squared, 3, 5 squared, 7 to the 5, like that. So we notice that 5 squared is in common, right? 5 squared, 5 cubed, 5 squared is in common. 7 squared is in common for both, like that. And so our GCF is 5 squared times 7 squared, which is 1225, like that. Okay, time for some practice. So find the GCF of the following numbers. Here is 2 to the 6, 5 to the 4. 2 to the 5, 5 to the 7, 2 to the 10, 3 to the 5, 5 to the 3, 2 to the 6, 3 to the 4, 5 to the 8, like that. So go ahead and pause the video and answer that question. Okay, we're back. So 8 is 2 cubed, 12 is 3 times 2 squared. So the only thing in common is 2 squared. So GCF is 2 squared, which gives 4. B, 135 is 3 cubed times 5. 63 is 3 squared times 7. So we notice that 3 squared is in common, and that's the only thing in common. That's the largest thing in common, is 3 squared. And so GCF is 3 squared, which gives 9. C, 98, 2 times 7 squared. 28, 2 squared times 7. So 2 is in common and 7 is in common. So GCF is 14. D, we notice that 36, 40, and 24, we write that as product of primes. 2 squared is in common, and nothing else. So GCF 2 squared equals 4, like that. Okay, E, 2 to the 6, 5 to the 4, 2 to the 5, 5 to the 7. So out of the 2's, 2 to the 5 is in common. Out of the 5's, 5 to the 4 is in common, and that gives 20,000. So that's our GCF. F, 2 to the 10, 3 to the 5, 5 to the 3, 2 to the 6, 3 to the 4, 5 to the 8. So 2 to the 6 is in common, 3 to the 4 is in common, 5 to the 3 is in common. And that gives 648,000, like that. Okay, moving on now. So we're going to look at something called LCM. So this is least common multiple. And an example of when you use least common multiple is in fractions. And we covered this in the grade 8 fraction videos if you're curious about using the LCM. And so least common multiple. So this is the smallest common non-zero multiple, right? So it's the smallest common multiple of the given numbers. So let's take a look here. Method 1 is to write out a list of multiples for each number and then select the least common multiple. So let's do some examples. So example 2, using method 1, find the LCM of each pair. So we have 40 and 16. So we're going to look at multiples of 40. 40, 80, 120, 160, etc. Keeps going like that. That's our method here. We're just making a list. Multiples of 16. 16, 32, 48, 64, 80, etc., etc. Now we notice that there's a multiple that's in common here. 80 and 80. This is a multiple that's in common for both. And it's the smallest one. If we were to keep writing these numbers, there would be also other multiples that match. And what we're doing with the LCM is looking for the smallest multiple that arises. And so the first one that arises is 80, and so that is our LCM. If you kept going, you would get other multiples, but they wouldn't be the least common one. They would just be another common multiple. LCM, we're looking for the smallest multiple. Okay, so B, 18 and 24, 18, 36, 54, 72, etc. 24, 24, 48, 72, etc. 72 arises. This is our first common multiple, so that's the LCM right there. Least common multiple, 72. C, 20 and 50, multiples of 20, multiples of 50. Smallest one is 100, so least common multiple is 100. Okay, D, 14 and 35. So multiples of 14, bang, 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 like that. Multiples of 35, bang, bang, bang. And we notice that 70 is the first common multiple there, so LCM is 70. So practice number 2. This is for you guys. Find the LCM of each pair using method 1 that we just did. Go ahead and pause the video and answer that. Okay, we're back. So A, 22 and 55, multiples like that. 110 is the first one, so LCM is 110. B, multiples of 9, that's crazy. So we kept going more and more and still no match with the 25. We kept going and still no match. Finally, 225, bang. 225 is the LCM. And method 2 that we're going to see is going to be so much more effective that you're going to like it because you don't have to do these big lists. So we're going to go method 2 very soon. So still on method 1, C, 6, multiples of 6, 8, multiples of 8, LCM is 24. Okay, method number 2. So what we do is write out each number in prime factored form. And then we use the prime factors that occur most often from each number. So I'm going to do lots of examples here. So example 3, find the LCM of each pair using method 2. So we have 40 and 16. So we're going to break up 40 to be 2225 like that. Break up 16 to be 2222 like that. And so for the 2's, we take the largest one. So here we have 3 2's and here we have 4 2's. So we take the largest one. So 4 2's like that. And then 5's, we take the largest occurring 5. So it occurs once here and none there. So we take the occurring once like that, 5 to the 1. And so the LCM is this 2222 times 5 like that, which gives 80. Which, if you remember, that was our least common multiple when we wrote out the list. So this is a little more efficient than instead of writing out a list, especially when it comes to examples where you have to write a lot of multiples. Okay, so B, 18 and 24, break up 18, 2, 3, 3. Break up 24, 2, 2, 2, 3. So we take what's occurring the most often, so 2, 2, 2, and then 3, 3 like that, which gives 72. Right, 2, 2, 2 occurs the most here, so we have that. 3 and 3 occurs the most there, so we have that. And then that gives 72. Okay, lots of examples. 20 and 50. So 20 is 225, 50 is 525. So the LCM, 2, 2 occurs the most, and then 5, 5 occurs the most for that, which gives 100, like that. 14 and 35. 14 is 2 times 7, 35, 5 times 7. So 2 occurs once, 5 occurs once, and 7 occurs once like that, which gives 70. All right, okay, E. 2 cubed, 5 to the 4, 7 cubed. 2 squared, 5 to the 6, 7. And we're taking the largest. So out of the 2's, which one are the largest? 2 cubed. 5, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6 is the largest. We take that. 7 cubed, 7. 7 cubed occurs the most, like that. And so the LCM is 42,875,000, like that. F. 2 squared, 3, 5 squared, 7. 2, 3 to the 4, 5, 7 to the 3. So look at the 2's. 2 squared is the biggest one. 3 to the 4 is the biggest one. 5 to the square is the biggest one. And 7 to the cube is the biggest one. Multiply that out, you get 2,778,300, like that. And so practice number 3. Find the LCM of each pair using method 2. And so this is 5 to the 3, 7 squared. 5 squared, 7 to the 6. 2 times 3 squared times 5 cubed times 7 to the 4. 2 to the 4, 3 cubed, 5 squared, and 7. So go ahead and pause the video and find those LCMs. Okay, we're back. So A, 22 is 2 times 11. 55 is 5 times 11. So the LCM is 2, 5, and 11, like that, which gives 110. B, 9 and 25. 9 is 3 times 3. 25 is 5 times 5. So what's occurring most often is 3 times 3, and then 5 times 5, like that. So LCM is 225. C, 6 and 8. 6 is 2 times 3. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. And so 222 occurs most often, and then 3 to the 1 here occurs most often. So LCM is 24. D, 5 cubed, 7 squared. 5 squared, 7 to the 6. And so between 5 cubed and 5 squared, 5 cubed is bigger. 7 squared, 7 to the 6. 7 to the 6 is bigger. And so that is our LCM. 14,706,125. E, 2, 3 squared, 5 cubed, 7 to the 4. 2 to the 4, 3 cubed, 5 squared, 7, like that. So we're looking at the 2's. 2 to the 4 is bigger. 3 to the 3 is bigger. 5 to the cube is bigger. And 7 to the 4 is bigger. And so this is our LCM, 129,654,000. Okay, and then just to wrap it up, another practice just to make sure you can tell the difference. Find the GCF and LCM of each pair. So this is 2 cubed, 5 squared, 2 to the 4, 5, 7 cubed, 11 squared, 7 to the 4, 11, 5 to the 5, 7 to the 4, 5 squared, 7 to the 6. So go ahead and pause the video and answer that. Okay, we're back. So the GCF, when we're looking at here, we're looking at what's in common for both. So 2 cubed is in common for both, and 5 is in common for both. So that gives 40. LCM, we're taking the biggest. So 2, 4, and 5 squared like that gives 400. B, what's in common for both? 7 cubed and 11. And so we have 7 cubed times 11 gives 3,773. LCM, we're taking the largest, so 7 to the 4 and 11 squared, like that, which is 290,521. C, GCF, what's in common for both? 5 squared and 7 to the 4, so 5 squared times 7 to the 4, that is our GCF. LCM, we're taking the largest of the two, so 5 to the 5 and 7 to the 6, like that, which is 367,653,125. And that's it. It's that simple. I'll see you guys in the next video.